Hey guys, Palsteron here, and today let's talk about the Mastery changes for the passive tree in 3.21. Ever since Masteries got introduced, they have been quite a big deal. They have helped the passive tree being a little bit more relevant, take away a little bit of the power from cluster jewels. The passive tree is strong again, and one of the reasons for that is that there's more stuff on the passive tree to get, and it's easier to get them with the Mastery system. However, they made a lot of changes. Let's go through some of the most spicy ones. Also, this video is not made to tell you whether I like or dislike these changes. Overall, some of these added masteries are pretty goofy, but it is what we have. So yeah. First up, the accuracy mastery with plus 500 accuracy and then -2 per level. A lot of people were saying this is good while leveling. I mean, of course it is, but it isn't just good while leveling, it's just good in general. Even if we take a level 100 character, that's plus 300 accuracy, and a ton of people used to take this accuracy mastery right here, which gives you plus 3 accuracy per dexterity instead of plus 2, which means at 300 dexterity, you would have the same effect as this, and not everybody has 300 dexterity. I think this is something a lot of people will take on their 1 accuracy cluster if they have one, especially now with precision not having the precision reservation mastery anymore, where they might have to consider just cutting it completely, but only time will tell. Number 2 here, we have the 10% of armor also applies to chaos damage taken from hits. This is something I saw on Captain Lance's video. I completely missed this one the first time around. The reason this is really strong is because you can have up to 75% chaos resistance. So that means that the hit already gets reduced, and it's basically like unbreakable, but for chaos damage, although it only takes 1 mastery. However, a big downside might be that a lot of chaos damage is actually not hit-based, it is damage over time. But I think in any build that has a ton of armor, and if you can somehow get this in, it should be a no-brainer. Then actually on the same mastery, we have the 10% of physical damage from hits taken as chaos damage. If you're chaos inoculation, that is straight up 10% less physical damage taken. And a mastery that I absolutely love is this one right here, the armor and evasion mastery. Immune to bleeding if equipped helmet has higher armor than evasion. The poison stuff, not that important to me, but bleeding is really annoying, and especially while leveling. A lot of duelist and ranger builds are here at round about level 30, some even at level 15 or something like that. And the cool thing is, starting Act 4, there's really annoying bleed mobs that can destroy your day, and you don't want to upgrade your life flask every single time. So if you can just kind of balance this out where you just have an armor helmet, you're just bleed immune throughout the campaign, that is pretty awesome. Next up, probably the most talked about mastery of them all, gain adrenaline for 1 second when you change stance. I don't have to be the 20th content creator to make the same video about how OP this is. You can change stance every second. You can have perma adrenaline uptime. Adrenaline is OP. So what's the problem with this? It's the playstyle. There is no way to automate this that isn't against terms of service. So if you want to do this all day, then be my guest. I don't want to destroy my gameplay time. I would rather just not have it and have a little bit less power. A lot of people have been crying for this to get removed. I have to totally agree. It's just such a stupid idea, and it will just get people banned for no reason. I have no idea who approved this, who thought about this whole cooldown recovery stance stuff. I think it's completely silly. It's the most unhealthy way to play the game. But yeah, then we have a pretty fun one that I just wanted to throw in here. 25% chance to open nearby chests when you cast a spell. Now, obviously kind of a meme, but first thing I want to know is, what does nearby mean? Because that's always a thing in PoE. And secondly, there is actually some map layouts, believe it or not, because nobody ever opens chests, but I actually saw this. In Volcano map and these like Karui layouts, there's actually a ton of chests. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that or something. I'm just, pointing it out. Then we have 2 instant Leech masteries right here. 10% from the Leech mastery itself, and then also 10% of Leech per equipped claw. Now, some people might be overrating these masteries. They're good, but they're not old Valpact. Let me tell you why. So, unless the wiki is wrong on this, there's a 20% max leech per second. We all know this, but there is also 10% max per leech instance. So that means that if you hit something, no matter how big that hit is, it can only leech 10% of your life back. You can also test that in game by using the Bloodseeker Claw. That one has instant leech, but you're not going to fall on 1 hit. It doesn't work like that. So this is a restriction, and I don't know if you can actually scale this with any of the mods on the tree, because all the mods on the tree specify leech per second, and this is just per hit. So if that's true, and let's say you get a 10% instant leech from right here, that would mean you could maximum hit 1% of your life per hit. Is that bad? Not at all, right? That's still 50 life gain on hit on a 5,000 HP character. I just wanted to point this out because it's not old Valpact where you're just going to leech and you're just going to have this thing right here. Obviously, if you're Claw build, then this becomes even more interesting. Then the Dagger Mastery right here gives 50% projectile speed while you have a dagger. Doesn't sound like anything crazy, but 50% projectile speed, we haven't really seen that yet. That is a ton, right? Like you can get a bit on the passive tree here or there, like 20 here, 20 there. If you take this full cluster, you can get long shot, and this also gives 10%, right? But just 50% with 1 point, definitely going to be a huge quality of life improvement for some builds. Maybe potentially Dagger Spark, probably not. I'm just saying. Then a pretty substantial buff to instackers right here. 1% increased evasion per 5 intelligence. Now, some instackers that care about defense, let's put it that way, have already done stuff like Shaper's Touch, where you get 2% increased evasion per 10 intelligence, which is the same as 1 per 5. So you're basically doubling the amount of evasion you get on that build. And that is a lot. We're talking if you have like 2,500 intelligence divided by 5, you get 500% increased evasion just from this notable, and then you could get even more from Shaper's Touch for a total of 1,000. Then a mastery that everybody loves, the Tabby Mastery, right? 15% increased maximum life if there are no life modifiers on equipped body armor. Obviously awesome while leveling, unless you frequently change your body armor. You should usually have something with some flat life, because especially early flat life is way better than increased life. However, this can get in handy, for example, when you start mapping and you have a tabula rasa. One thing that a lot of people are actually pointing out, Brass Dome does not work, unfortunately, because the last line here, strength provides no bonus to maximum life, is still considered a life mod. But this is going to be absolute best in slot, passive point for a lot of endgame builds. There's still a ton to do. Dendrobate, Dialas, the list goes on. And we have the mastery right here that makes it so you count on low life while at 55% of maximum life or above. Very strong for basically every low life build. One thing I want to mention though is a lot of people are talking about Petrified Blood. Now, it does say low life in the first line, but listen to this. In the second line, it says 30% of life loss below half-life is prevented. So just so you know, as long as you're on 55%, you're still not going to get that less damage reduction on that extra 5% of health that you go over low life. Still really good, still best in slot, just saying. And then there's the counterpart to it, which is you count as on full life while at 90% of maximum life or above. The only really application I can see for this is make damage on full life a little bit more cozy. Not super excited about this one, but still something to point out. Something I am excited about is the Poison Mastery. So this used to be a Claw Mastery. Enemies poisoned by you cannot deal critical strikes. You would have to take this weird Claw cluster that kind of works on poison, but it's very inefficient. You had to also be here. Now, if you're a poison build, you basically just get this for free, especially now with the removal of the 20% poison duration. You don't have that much else to take anyways. There's a ton of other ones to talk about, for example, the recovery or the stun masteries, but a lot of these are really hard to actually understand how they function until we test them out in game. Other than that, I'm pretty stoked for this league in general. Yeah, since I still don't have a slogan, see you next time.